Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
This is what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. Hot or cold, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles, compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles, go take care of your business. Success Chronicles, it's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. And I am excited to be doing this interview because I know that there's going to be some great gems and nuggets dropped in it. And so we have Dr. Jeff Springer on with us. And I just want to say, first off, thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
Well, Chip, I feel like we were talking about being in the locker room. I feel like I've been in the locker room for a long time, and I'm now in the tunnel, and I'm ready to get on the field, man. I'm ready to play.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
Let's get it, baby. Well, if you don't mind, I know off air we talked a little bit about your journey and some of the amazing things that you've been involved with. But if you don't mind sharing a little bit about your journey and your story, and so the audience will have an idea of who you are and what it is you do.
Yeah. Well, when someone says, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, first of all, you want to sit down for a minute because you want the short version or long version." But oh my gosh, I'm a coach and a teacher. No matter what I do, I'm a developer of people. So that's what I love to do. Once a coach, always a coach. So no matter what I've been, whether I've been a teacher, a classroom teacher, or an assistant principal, an associate principal, and a high school principal, or a consultant, or in my personal life, the dad and the husband. I've always been. I'm the coach, and God has been, blessed me. I've been in ministry. Of course, I consider, all the things that, the paths that God puts us on is all ministry if we choose to look at it that way. And whether it's education or literally being on church staff or whatever your career is. So, but I'm married I think I shared with you, married 41 years. I have two amazing kids. I have one boy and one girl, and they're 15 months apart, and they're 33 and 34. And one's an architect and one is a teacher or a former teacher. But again, one's a teacher, always a teacher. And,
yes,
just blessed, Chip. I've been repurposed since 2016 after 34 years in public education. And now I dabble in a lot of things. I do some consulting with a couple schools, and I also do some executive coaching where I coach school administrators and aspiring leaders in education. Work with a local university for developing teachers. But my real love is men's ministry and encouraging men to heed the call to be the dads that God has called them to be. So we have a nonprofit that God laid on my heart in 2008 and called Suit Up Ministries, literally put on the armor and be the dad. And it combines, the love of sport and the love of ministry.
So good. Lots of great things to be involved with. And, you talked about something and, having a faith background, I used to hear like my family, educators and faith background. I used to hear them say that it's a calling, right? And I didn't understand what that meant until I was in it, right? Yep. And then you see that, no, it really is to be great and be special at it. It's definitely a calling. And, you've been blessed to use that calling as a gift to help so many people. I think it's awesome, some of the things that you've been blessed to achieve and are still doing. And I love the fact that you call it repurposed. I love that.
Well, my wife she got out of public education 2 years after me, and she says, "Now, Jeff, I am retired." So but I'm, retired to me, Jeff, that's the day that one day after when we leave this earth and and
Yes.
hopefully a few people gather around and say a
Yes.
few nice words about us. That's when I'm retired. And I just believe that if we're not moving forward, if we're not repurposing, then we're not really living. So, I've been blessed, so blessed to have a supportive wife and family that, as I shared before we went on the air here, that, to help me kind of navigate, these passions that I have, and has allowed me to do. She's been a coach's wife. She's been a principal's wife. She's been a pastor's wife. Oh, come on now. So, and then she lets me, she encourages me to do all these things, and you have to have that, have to have all that in order. You have to have your fields ready, as it says in Proverbs, before you can build your house, So, I just don't want to be the guy that builds, spends his whole life building a house and doesn't get to live in it, but anyway, so I love what you do, Chip, and I love what
Thank you.
men and women like you do, that acknowledge, the things that people are out there doing to, hopefully, make this place better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got to. I think you can't get enough of that. And going back to how you were saying with your wife, being the wife of one of those is tough enough, but she's the wife of all three or four of those things at the same time.
Sometimes saying that out loud, I go, man, when we get off of this thing, I need to go tell her.
Thank you.
Thank you again. I mean, I just say, wow. Maybe the first time I've said that out loud. So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's really, really important.
Yes, sir. Well, what are three things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Wow. Again, I just, obviously, well, not obviously, but for me, the day, my son's 33, my daughter's 34. Like I said, they're 15 months apart. We were married 7 years before we had our first one. I tell people that we made up for lost time on the second one, being only 15 months apart. So I was 29 when we had our first one, and then 30 when we had our second one, which is about the time that people, they forget what it was like and they decide to have that second one. Well, we didn't. We didn't. Being a dad, is monumental, and bringing two children into this world, and then seeing them grow as adults, or grow into adulthood and be successful, and be, and contributing, in their, and in those things that they're passionate about. Right now, my daughter, who's blessed us with 3 grandchildren, who talk about game changer. You just think you love your kids until you have grandkids. I mean, there's just absolutely nothing like it. But to see her become the mom and be the wife, and then my son, who's not married yet, but in his career and some of the things that he's done, and so that is obviously something I'm very proud of. I had some unfinished business when I left education and moved into this next world, the next phase. And I was telling people that I was 57 when I repurposed. And so I told people that, that I was getting ready for my roaring 60s. Okay. So I was getting ready for the decade of excellence. And so, I always wanted, to get my doctorate. And so I didn't start my doctorate until literally the last semester I was at Magnolia High School in 2016.
Wow.
So I became doctor. I've only been Dr. Springer for 2 years. So I got my doctorate at almost 60, right before my 61st birthday. And then, so I'm proud of that. I mean, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I mean, it was 25 years from the time I got my master's to my doctorate. And so I was in cohorts with people, you know, a third my age, you know, or half my age, you know, and so that was a heck of an accomplishment and a 4.5 years of struggle, and but so proud, that I got that behind me, and have already benefited from that. And then the next thing that was on my, I guess you would say, my 60 decade of excellence is to write the book. And so the book comes out hopefully in December. It's a hashtag Dad Prep. It's 52 weeks of literally of blogs that I put to get culmination of weekly devotional on preparation. 52 weeks, 52 aspects of what it means to prepare as it relates to being a dad. And so anyway, that's been a long, as you know, being the author of so many books that you've written, that process is not, it's a grueling, and sometimes, doubt sets in, and why am I doing this? And what's, and who's going to read this? And and all that. But, so that's, those are two things recently that I'm really proud of. And then the other thing that I guess number 3 would be the being able to see a nonprofit Suit Up Ministry move to where it is right now. It's still on the cusp, I think, of great things, but we are now in Africa. I Zoomed with 1,300 men on Saturday morning at 5 a.m. Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Nigeria. Men that travel, Chip, 6 hours one way for 2 hours Zoom meeting to listen to me, to a guy they've never met before, talk about what it means to be a dad. And that's what we talk about. So we're raising champions, men to be the dad that got daily active devotion is what we say DAC stands for. So we did that quarterly, and we started in the living room with 7 people in a living room in a house in Uganda with 7 men. And the next thing we knew, it was 23. And the next time we came on, it was 100. And the next time it was 150. And then it got up to over 500. And then we decided for the goal for 2022 was we were going to raise 1,000 champions. And every quarter of 2022, it got larger and larger. And some of them come back every time, but probably 50% of them are first timers. So we just spent 2 hours. And I try to equipping men for victory is what we talk about doing. Champions, making disciples to go out and to do the same thing that we do together in their churches and their communities and their neighborhoods. So if there's 1,000 plus that are being trained on Saturday, and every one of them goes out and starts their own huddle of 10 men, 7 to 10 men. So I never believed that in 2008, when God laid it on my little tiny brain, that because I just had Africa was never in my, sight, or, but God had something else. And, I was just thinking about this little 1488 corridor that we live in and making a difference in Montgomery County. God said, I got a bigger dream for you. And so it's just exploding. So we're going to go in 2023 in July, my wife and I and a small team, and we're going to spend 14 days, and we haven't mapped it out yet, but it's just going to be incredible. just incredible. These people, these men are so hungry, Chip. You know, we can't hardly get a here. We can't hardly get a man to stop for a cup of coffee, and
Wow.
they'll take, you know, they'll ride a bus, a taxi, a, you know, motorbike, you know, a donkey, whatever it takes to get there, and then turn right around and go home. So
Man,
anyway,
that gave me chills. Like that is amazing. I think because I think the things that I think about is how it helps for generations.
yeah, that's what we say. We say one man. This is the mantra for, we call it Dad University. Okay, so all these guys. So first of all, when you open up the Zoom and you see these 500 men with their dad, it's DAD across their chest, Dad University. We talk about it's the one university nobody ever graduates from, because once a dad, always a dad. You don't, you know. So, but the mantra is one man, one change, one generation. Because we used to get caught up in numbers, you know, we do that, you know, we do that in church, we do that, you know, at FCA, whatever, how many came, you know, I mean, you know, I gave you the numbers of how many we talked to on Saturday. So that's, you know, we get caught up in that, but sometimes we got to just say, look, if one man makes one change, if out of 1,000, I mean, we hope that more than one man does, but if one man just decides to make one change that changes a generation, then we're doing God's work. You know, so it's all worth it. So but
good.
we know more than one man is going to be.
Yes, for sure, without a doubt. Yeah. Well, just hearing you talk about your amazing journey, hearing you talk about the things that you're proud of, I would consider that to be hugely successful. So let's hit on success. What is your definition of success?
Wow. Of course, you know, Chip, I read that question, and I think that word success in the world sometimes gets it's almost like it's not enough. I mean, success is almost like today it's just not, and it's like it's good, it's okay. It's, you know, we used to talk about at Magnolia High School the difference between excellence and eminence. You know, excellence, you can be lucky every once in a while and do X. I mean, as a coach, okay, 1 year out of 5, you can win 8 or 10 games, but that's excellent. You had an excellent year, but that's not eminent. You know what eminent is? Eminence is year after year after year after year. That's to me, that's what success is ultimately, that you are known. You know, we talk about what is a champion. In Proverbs, it talks about what is a champion. A champion is not unknown to men. He will stand before kings. You know, I mean, you know people when the type of man or woman that walks in the room and you go, I want what they have. And you can't even describe it. It's just their peace. It's just their, Wade Hopkins is like, he's one. I tell Wade, I'm 10 years older than he is. And I tell him one day I want to grow up to be just like him, you know? So, to me, that is success. You know, you got the world definition of success and you've got God's definition of success. And I think that, but if we want to be, success can happen again, it can happen on accident, but to repeat it over and over again, it becomes eminent. We said, okay, let's look at the best programs we have in our school. And then let's model that program across the board. We want like we had most people that know Magnolia knew in the sports world that prior to the last decade, they would probably say girls volleyball, or they would say girls softball. We had amazing girls sports. Okay. You know, or, you know, you think of, you just name a school, Katy High School. Yeah. What do you think? Football. Okay. They're not excellent, They're eminent. Why are they eminent? Because they go every year. I mean, they over year after year after year. And so I guess that would be I don't know if I gave you a definition or not, but I'm weary of the word success sometimes because of what the world tells us is success. I can tell you all these things that I have in my room, which you can see, and a lot of accolades. None of them makes a difference. None of it. Zero is zip. If I don't have my son and my daughter and my wife and my faith, and the rest of it's just icing on the. I mean, it's just the extra, you know. I mean, I have pictures of, I do weddings. Like I have one this Sunday. I only do weddings of former students. I've done 40 plus. Sometimes bride and groom are both former students. If I don't know if you can see, but this in the back is wedding wall. Okay, well, even that doesn't matter. None of that matters. None of that matters if I don't have, my own life in order. So, but that just makes it.
Gosh, that is amazing, man. So, hold on, let's go back. Let's go back, Doc. Oh no, I got to get closer to them. Hold on, wait a minute. So you only do weddings of your former students. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, what was happening, Chip, is that because I was on staff at a church, kids assumed that I was ordained. Well, I was in the Methodist church. I was what they call local pastor. And when you're a local pastor and you go to local pastor school, you can do everything that the ordained pastor does at other churches. And the reason they have local pastors is because some of these rural churches are not covered. There's not enough pastors to go around. So they take a layperson like me who maybe has that tendency or leans towards that, and is willing to go to local pastor school and to fulfill that, kind of like the old circuit rider.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I would literally get in my car and drive out to Richards and Base Chapel every Sunday for 4 years and do their services. But then I was the high school principal during the week, so,
Right.
So it was like it was so it was the best of both worlds. But anyway, so I started getting kids that were graduating, and then I've been in it for 34 years. So obviously a lot of kids that were of the age of marriage, and I had to tell them no because I wasn't ordained. Well, then I saw a fellow teacher of mine who was a coach in another campus in our district who was performing weddings. And I called her one day and I go, "How are you doing this? Because are you ordained?" She goes, "No, in the state of Texas, all you got to do is have your little internet card, I mean, anybody can marry anybody as long as you technically are affiliated or associated." So I paid my $25, got my universal, whatever. I'm a card carrying or ordained, to this one church that's on internet, and that's in my back pocket. And so I started saying yes. And so I've been doing weddings. Again, I do probably 3 to 6 a year. And I only do people, former students that I know. Well, obviously I would know them, but former students or people I know, because now I could do a wedding. I could do several weddings every weekend, but I don't, I'm not going to do them for people that I don't care about. Number one, sorry, or no, because I want to pastor them, I want to counsel them. I don't want to just
lead them.
Right. And it's too big a day for me to just marry strangers, I mean, I prepare and I want it to be special, and I'm honored because I'm the guy that gave them their high school diploma, and now now I get to marry them,
Yes.
So the only thing left is to baptize their baby one day. So,
Come on.
and, or heaven forbid, which I've done,
Funeral.
overseeing funerals.
Yeah.
So
That's the tough part right there.
those are the ones. Yeah.
Yeah, tough. Well, in closing, Doc, I'd love for you to have an opportunity to share with the audience where they can go follow you and check you out and show you some love with all of the amazing things you have going on.
Wow. So they better get a pen and pencil, because there's a couple. No, So my ministry website it's literally suit, like you put on a suit, up ministries, plural, suitupministries.org. Or you can email me at jeff@suitupministries.org. If you're interested in finding out more about Suit Up Ministries. If you are interested in the educational aspect, which we didn't get much time to spend on, that it's play, PLAY, more, play more, today, playmoretoday.org. And again, jeff@playmoretoday.org. I'm on Twitter at Suit Up Ministry, all one word, at Suit Up Ministry, singular. Facebook, Suit Up Ministries. You can, again, if you just want to connect with me, either of those emails are great.
Awesome. Well, again, I just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles. Really enjoyed it, and I wish you continued success.
Jim, I appreciate, my friend, and obviously I love to talk about things that I'm passionate about. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. And thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.